Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today is the fourth installment of Hot Wheels investing portfolio, where I take $10 every month and pick up simple releases to add to a Hot Wheels investing portfolio, with the ultimate goal that at the end of the year I will be able to quadruple 4x the amount of money I put into the portfolio. But let's start off with a fun fact. The reason why the Nissan Skyline GTR R32 is nicknamed Godzilla is because of its dominance in the 1990s Australian Touring Car Championship, as well as winning multiple races in the Bathurst 1000 endurance race. And that's how the Nissan Skyline, the GTR, the R32 was nicknamed Godzilla. And that is exactly what Hot Wheels captured with this release, the success of the Nissan Skyline R32 in those races. And paying homage to the Godzilla name, they put the Godzilla graphic on the side, spewing all of that firepower out of its mouth. The other really interesting thing about this cast is that it is actually dual licensed by Nissan, as well as the actual Godzilla trademark. And for all of those reasons, that is why I'm adding these three Nissan Skylines into the April Hot Wheels investing portfolio. So you guys saw my hunt video where I was able to find one of these at Kroger's. I actually went out the last couple of weeks and I was able to scrounge up three more. So I'm only adding three because I am going to open this one up for you guys so that we can just take a more in-depth look at this car and this cast. So without further ado, let's get this king of monsters out of pack. Godzilla R32. And there it is, fresh out of pack, and it looks great, all in white. The only other time that we've seen this R32, the M Factory wide body version, is when it was released with the helicopter chase car set. But I know that was more of a pearlescent white, and one thing too was that back then the R32 was very prone to paint flaking. I know it's very prevalent in the Super Treasure Hunt, but also in the older mainline releases too. So hopefully Hot Wheels and Mattel figured out their paint recipe to avoid that issue with these. But yeah, looks great. Classic Skyline cast, all the details. It does now have a casted metal spoiler, whereas in the past the original first edition, as you guys can recall, always came with this little black spoiler in the back. So there it is. That's also my first edition factory sealed that I do have in my collection. So again, adding three of these to the Hot Wheels investing portfolio puts me $3 invested in this release. Right now on the secondary market, these are selling about $2 to $3. Obviously, they were selling for a lot more, maybe about a couple of weeks ago. Pretty much sitting at that $10 range, but that's the natural progression of these cars. There's a lot of hype when they release and they tend to taper down in value, but that's not to say that it doesn't have some future value. I mean, it's a Skyline. There's no safer investment right now in Hot Wheels. I do foresee the value of this car going up in the future. I would estimate right around that $5 mark by the end of the year is my guess. And the reason I'm saying that is because I feel like it's going to follow the same financial growth as we've seen in the yellow EK9 that came out just last year, and not the Super Treasure Hunt, just the mainline. Even though it's a mainline, it wasn't the easiest to find, and I recall the value of these being right around that $2, $3 price point. And as the FK started to disappear, this car, even the mainline format, started to rise in value, as to today where it's sitting at exactly $5 on the secondary market. So I can easily see the same take place with the Godzilla R32. Next up, I was fortunate enough to go into my Walmart and find the exclusive JDM Premium Mainline Set that consists of the Honda Prelude, NSX, the Miata 2000 GT, and the Fairlady 2000. But you heard me right, these are considered a premium set and they come with that premium price tag of $3 a piece. So obviously it's way out of my budget for $10, given that I already have three R32 mainlines in the portfolio for the month. But I thought this would be a good exercise to showcase to you guys picking the right cars out of sets in order to add to your collection. So first off, I will just say that I think Hot Wheels sets are the trap that Hot Wheels puts out there in order to get more of our money, to make us feel obligated to buy more than what we need. You see this 5-car set, you obviously want to get all 5 cars in the set to be complete, but in all honesty, there's a million sets, and I guarantee you there's only 1 or 2 or at the most 3 cars out of any particular set that you even have an interest in. And especially when you get into Hot Wheel investing, you're trying to stretch your dollar further, you're always going to want to play the more selective game when picking out cars for your collection and investment purposes. So in this case, let's just go through each one of these cars one by one. Starting off with this Honda Prelude in this autocross track day theme, where it's got the painter's tape 21 on the side of the car. It's typical practice within a track day event, just so that you have the number that associates you to the race for the day. But I do like this Weekend Warrior format that they put the Honda Prelude in, and it's no surprise that the Honda Prelude casting is very popular among the collectors today. So right now on the secondary market, this particular release is selling for about $5, so again about a $2 gain from the retail price point. Next up, you got this classic Ryusada silver Acura NSX. Looks good. The one flaw that we always point out with this cast is that the rear wheels are staggered a lot larger than the front, but nonetheless that is classic Hot Wheels formatting when it comes to diecast cars, because it just looks cool, to be perfectly honest. But this one is no exception. Looks great in the silver. I mean, there's plenty of this Acura NSX in silver. They've been released a number of times. Same with red. I feel like we've seen red and silver a couple of times already, but this one, a welcome addition. The only thing that really makes this different from any of the previous releases is maybe this little black pinstripe here on the bottom rear rocker panel. And we all know that the Acura NSX is widely popular in real life as well as in Hot Wheel format. This one right now, secondary market, sits at around that $5 price point, similar to the Honda Prelude. Then you got this MX-5 Mazda Miata 1991. So this is the classic pop-up headlight Mazda Miata. It's got the little roll bar in the back there, and rightfully so, because it also has a track day theme similar to the Honda Prelude. Probably the only 2 cars that kind of match in the set, the Prelude and the Miata being kind of track day theme. Does look good in the blue, and we know how popular the Mazda Miata, the 91 new remodel Hot Wheel, as we've seen first editions go into that price point of around $10 to $20 depending on which color variation. This Miata right now secondary market sits at around that $5 price point, similar to the Acura NSX as well as the Honda Prelude. And what's a set without a little Toyota action, this being the 2000 GT. It is a popular cast. Don't get me wrong, in real life it's near impossible to ever come across this car, so that's just how rare it is. But I think because of that, it's just not very relatable from a collector standpoint, and that's completely reflected within the secondary market value of this car. I mean, the latest sold on eBay was for $1. I mean, that's essentially taking a loss on a $3 retail release. But I think in general, this is probably one of the peg warmers from the set. And last but not least, you got this Datsun Fairlady 2000. I mean, let's just take some time to think about Datsun for a minute. Where has it gone? Seems to be that the talk of the town right now is Skylines and Toyotas. Everybody forgot all the Datsun hype that we had just maybe 2 years ago. But the Fairlady 2000 was basically the most forgettable Datsun ever made into Hot Wheel format. I mean, there's absolutely nothing to hate about this car. This particular release actually does look pretty good in black, and then the slight red and blue pinstripes there. I guess you could say this does have somewhat of a race day theme as well too, given that big number 2 on the side of the car. But again, very unsought after. Right now, secondary market, latest sale does show $5, but there was only one single purchase of this car on eBay in the last 2 weeks. So with only $7 left to spend in the investing portfolio, The two cars that I chose out of the set were the Acura NSX and the Honda Prelude. The Prelude being kind of a no-brainer just because it's a 90s era Honda that a lot of people can relate to. So it really was a toss-up between the Acura NSX, a Ryu Asada cast, which I'm a fan of and I'm sure a lot of people are a fan of. And then you got the Mazda Miata as well too, which is also a Ryu Asada cast, but I think the prestige around the Acura NSX is just a lot more than the Miata. Again, it's kind of a perspective type of situation. If you went with the Miata, I don't blame you, but for me, I'd rather have the Acura NSX. So not much secondary market presence from each of these cars. Again, $3 retail a piece. Right now they're both sitting at about $5 a piece, but I feel like they have a lot of commonalities with this from last year's Honda Civic Premium Mainline Set, Walmart exclusive. This is the teal Honda Civic EG. Also does have somewhat of a track day theme with the number plate there on the side of the door. This one, again, $3 retail price point. Currently right now, about a year later after it has been released, currently sits at $12 to $15. So I can definitely see the Honda Prelude and the Acura NSX going up to those ranks from a secondary market standpoint. So here are the final additions for the April Hot Wheels investing portfolio. You got the two premium mainlines, the Prelude, the NSX, and then the three Nissan Skyline GTR R32s, the Godzillas. Puts me right at around $9, and then after taxes, pretty much $10 right on the bubble. And if you add up the secondary market values of these cars, we're sitting at around $16 total currently. But again, with each one of these, I did pinpoint some comparables that have grown in value, basically 4-5x after about a year's time. So fingers crossed, that's the same trajectory these cars are going to be going. But that's what I got for you guys today. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on DieCash Cars.